All right. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, well, welcome to everybody. Okay. We're good. Again, welcome to everybody. A couple reminders, please silence your cell phones and raise your hand if you have a question and wait for the mic to come to you, and try to limit yourself to one follow-up question. And please provide your name and affiliation when you are asking a question. A reminder that video recording on cell phones and cameras is prohibited. There's a plug-in in the back. No flash photography. Those of you joining on Zoom, raise your hand if you have a question, and we will do our best to get to you. Two quick introductions. We have our pool reporter for this weekend, Beth Harris from the AP here. So if you have any pool reporter issues, go to Beth. And also introduce to you Darcy Couch, who is the Assistant Athletic Director for Sports Brands and Communications for USC. And with that, we will introduce our two student athletes. We have JuJu Watkins and Talia von Oelhoffen. So we'll start with questions from the audience. Josh, hold on for the mic.
Josh Peter with USA Today. JuJu, when's the last time you played without a bun, and how did this become tradition?
Love that that's the first question. The last time I played without a bun, I don't really know. Probably in high school. I used to wear like a puff. So I don't know. It just kind of became a thing. I started to realize that I played better with it, so I just started wearing it more.
Can I ask one follow-up?
Yeah, sure.
Whether it's the ritual with your mom and the bonding, or just something about the hair itself, is there some power to it? Is there something that gives you added confidence?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's really our time to kind of talk about the game and talk about different things. So I never really take that for granted. And yeah, it's just a cool thing for me and her. Yep.
Go to Ryan.
JuJu, I know you talked before about the idea of don't move, improve, and how that played a part in making your decision. Is that something that had come up throughout your childhood, or was that just something that came up as you're kind of thinking of that decision? And what was it in particular that stuck about that led you to decide that you wanted to continue that legacy, that same as your great grandfather?
Yeah, for sure. That saying has always been kind of a thing in my family. Really big on community work and trying to better the environment that that we're in. So that was always a thing for me growing up, and I think as I kind of came into my own and started to grow up a little more, I started to resonate even more with it. So definitely was a factor in my deciding process. But at the end of the day, I just follow my heart as well. So,
is there any sort of pressure in that sense that when you are staying at home, you have people who know you, who count on you, who look up to you? Did you sense that pressure at all when you made the decision, or has that changed over the course of the time you've been here?
No, I think it's just really been a blessing for me, just having my family and having people from my community come to our games. I think it means a lot. But yeah, definitely more a blessing than a curse.
We'll go over here.
Hey, JuJu, it's been a big year for you, not only on the court but off the court.
Thank you.
Your face is everywhere. We can't turn the TV on without seeing you. What does that mean to be such a big figure in this space when so many dollars are now being spent on women's sports? What does it mean for you to be one of the faces of that?
I think it's really cool. Always in disbelief and super grateful for the opportunity. I think I wouldn't be in this position without the women that came before me and kind of paved the way for me. So I'm very grateful for that. And then I'm just, having fun. I enjoy what I do, so really never taking anything for granted.
Go in the middle here.
Cece with USC Trojans Wired and Let's Talk USC Women's Basketball on YouTube. Good morning, Talia and JuJu. First of all, congratulations, JuJu, on being nominated for Defensive Player of the Year, top 4.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And with that being said, your evolution defensively has come over the year. How do you feel about playing defense now as opposed to offense, being dominant in offense? And have you had to grow to love it, or do you not love it?
I enjoy it sometimes. I think, it's a part of the game. I really try to be the best on both ends of the floor for my team. So however I could kind of get the momentum going in any way, definitely going to do that. So.
Well, congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you.
And Talia, for you, I see you all the time on Instagram incorporating Pilates in your workout routine. So I'm curious, as some of the facial expressions you're making, it doesn't look like you love it so much, but I know as Pilates is really hard. I couldn't do it. But how has that helped you on the basketball court this year?
Yeah, I love it. It's really fun for me. Like, I enjoy doing it. And so I think I've just, connected with my, instructor that I go to. Like, she's a friend of mine now. And so, yeah, I just enjoy it. I feel like it helps a lot with mobility and things like that. It's hard to find time for sure. But, yeah, I think it's just a part of taking care of my body, and it's kind of become a part of my routine. So, yeah, I mostly do it because it's fun for me.
Is there a mental aspect to that? As far as, because it's so tough. The movements are so tough. So does that help you on the court mentally as well?
I think I definitely just, my body feels better when I'm doing it. And it's really, she does specific stuff for, athletes. So it's not just, random Pilates. There's, a reason for all. I'll tell her, what's tight or what we've been doing, and then, how many days we are away from the game. And so she's really good at what she does. So I think just that added aspect of, it's kind of like when you get treatment. Obviously, the treatment's working, but when you know you're doing it, you feel more confident in how your body's feeling. So I feel like it kind of is a similar effect.
Thank you guys for answering those questions, and good luck.
Of course, thank you.
We'll hand it back. And remember, name and affiliation, please.
Marikawa, USCFootball.com. So both of you have a little bit of experience in the NCAA tournament. Talia, you've been in, you've participated in 4, and you've both reached the Elite 8. What is the mindset going into Game 1 versus going into those games leading up to trying to make a run going forward?
Yeah, I've only participated in 2, but I think obviously having recently last year going to the Elite 8 and just what that group was able to do, I think one thing I took away was just, that team was picked to finish 11th in the Pac-12 before season, and we just kept getting better and better and better, and we were playing our best basketball in March, and obviously making that Elite 8 run. We were one of the top teams in the country, so I think just knowing that it's a accumulation of the whole season and just getting better and better. Obviously, this team has had the talent, but it's going to be about playing our best basketball this time of the year, and I think we've been ramping up to that, played really well towards the end of the regular season, and so I think we're super confident going into it, and having people from 3 different teams with experience in the tournament and kind of blending our experience together, and just having veterans out there that have been in certain situations, I think is going to help us. But yeah, we're definitely feeling confident and ready to play our best basketball yet.
Clint Yates, ESPN. Talia, can you tell me a little bit about Selection Sunday, what that was like as a team from an emotional standpoint, from the start to the beginning? It was a whole event, and what you guys ended up in terms of the bracket. What was that like as a team in terms of how you guys took all that in?
Yeah, I think it's super interesting experience, kind of knowing that you're going to be a 1 seed. I've never experienced that before. I think a lot of this team hasn't experienced, kind of being at the top of a lot of conversations all year, but I think there still is an aspect of it of we want to be number 1, we're going for a national championship. So I think knowing that we were probably going to be a 1 seed is just like an interesting thing. I think we're all just ready to play. Like, I don't think we were super impacted by the show, because no matter where they would have put us or who we'd be playing against, who's in our side, whatever, like, we're just ready to go out and win 6 games. So it was cool to have a lot of our fans there and have them supporting us. But yeah, I think regardless of how it would have went, we're just ready to play.
JuJu, a lot of people hear from you about you. Do you have anything you want to tell folks about your teammates that you like most about playing with this unit of athletes?
Yeah, I think everybody's different, and we all kind of bring something different to the table, which I really appreciate. And I think just all have a will to win. I think that's really important. And, every day people come in here ready to go, and it's something that pushes me to be better. And I can't, the sky's the limit for this team, for sure.
Beth?
Yeah, Beth Harris, AP. JuJu, what's it going to be like? There's 2 top seeds in this town. There's going to be 2 arenas full of fans on each side of town. And what's that going to mean for women's basketball, do you think? Because it's kind of a unique situation. I think back east, Raleigh-Durham has a similar thing with a lot of women's basketball. But East Coast, West Coast, what's that going to mean for this city in particular?
Yeah, it's really cool. I think, it's really good for California specifically. I think, I might be biased, but I think this is like one of the best basketball cities in the country. So yeah, it's really cool to be able to see 2 arenas here that are hosting, the biggest tournament of the year.
Come up here to Ryan again.
Talia, I was talking to Kennedy Smith's high school coach, and he kind of described her as having a killer instinct, really, from day one that he knew her. I guess I wonder, how have you seen that kind of come out in her as a freshman here?
Yeah, I think she's just super competitive in everything that she does. And like you said, it's instinctual. She doesn't have to force it. It's just part of who she is, on the court, off the court. And I think she can be hard on herself sometimes, but she expects like greatness out of herself, and that's what makes her who she is and makes her so good. That competitive nature and spirit, and she definitely brings that to our team. And a lot of times, if we're in a lull or we need a run, like, it's always her getting that steal or just applying a little bit more pressure. So that definitely impacts the team a lot.
Hard on herself in what sense?
I think just any mistakes, like, she's just expects super high of herself. I think a lot of people on this team do. And so it's been cool to see her navigating that and just continuing to show up and get the best out of herself every day. Like, she's able to get that from herself. Like, nobody else needs to, like, challenge her, because she wants to, be the best and have the impact, and is just always competing. So it's something I definitely admire about her.
Time for one more, if anybody. Nope. One last one.
Mike Archeli Times. JuJu talked about the importance of Watts in your community. I guess I wonder, how do you feel now, looking back on your childhood, that Watts, having grown up where you did, shaped you?
Yeah, definitely was very impactful in terms of like my upbringing, and I think the plan is to always kind of go back to my roots and always be grateful for where I would come from, because it's helped shape me in so many ways. So yeah, I think just as I continue to grow, just incorporating my city and everything that I do has been a goal of mine.
How do you feel like you've done that already, or tried to incorporate Watts in what you do the last 2 years?
Yeah, for sure. So every year I do like a holiday, give back sort of thing. We just hosted our second one, so continue to do that every year. And then, other things that I'm looking to do as well, but that's been the start so far.
Great. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just a reminder that Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com, and transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Coach Gottlieb will be in soon. Just film. Coach Lindsay Gottlieb will ask you to make an opening statement or two, and then we will take some questions.
Sure. Happy March Madness to everyone. Really grateful to be playing in this tournament. Again, it's never lost on me what a neat opportunity it is. Specifically, to be playing in Galen for the first 2 rounds is really special. Our team's focused and ready to go, and we're looking forward to playing a really good UNCG team tomorrow, who's obviously been very hot and earned their way here.
Question.
Sabrina Merchant, The Athletic. Hi, Lindsay.
Hey.
You had mentioned after the Big Ten tournament that you were really pleased with the way your team had responded to its previous losses. So I'm wondering what you've seen over the last couple of weeks that mirrors that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit of a different circumstance because it's so long since we last played. So I think it's a mix between kind of conjuring up that feeling that we had that's not a good one to keep us motivated, but also resetting because March Madness is March Madness in a time for sort of your highest level no matter what. So I think we got a little bit of both going on, like the joy and excitement and the kind of focus of playing in March Madness, and a little bit of an edge because, you know, we're not happy with the way the most previous game ended, and it's been a mix of both.
Here in the middle.
CC USC Trojan Wire, and Let's Talk USC Women's Basketball on YouTube. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi.
Quick question. I asked JuJu this morning about how she felt about making the final of the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year award. How do you guys feel as a coaching staff, and how have you viewed her development in defense over these last 2 years?
Did she know? I'm not even sure. She was probably aware.
She smiled.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
She said she liked defense a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a testament to a couple things. First of all, I think it's a testament to our team's defense, because I don't think anyone is on a national defense player of the year finalist if your team, you know, gives up a ton of points. So I think Coach B gets a ton of credit for really, orchestrating our defense, the rest of our coaching staff for their scouts, our team defense, which really works together. But JuJu is just phenomenal on both ends of the floor. I think her growth and leap this year she's always had just incredible instincts, her quickness of hands and deflections, her shot blocking. But I think, sophomore year, you know what's going on a little bit more even. So now you add the scouting report to your athleticism and your understanding, and she's really, a menace and a phenomenon on that end of the floor too. And I think it goes together in conjunction with our team of feeling like, we have weapons on that end of the floor as well as on the offensive end. So I'm really proud of her for that recognition.
And just as a follow-up, going into the tournament, I think that you guys are not getting the respect you deserve for your defensive play on that end of the court. Are you emphasizing that more in the tournament to really show how good you guys are defensively, or what are you emphasizing in the tournament?
I mean, I don't care what anyone thinks, really, at this point. I mean, it's about just getting wins, and and quite honestly, right, I'm sure there's people who think we're good and people who think we're not good or value this or that, like that, it really doesn't impact anything. I think we're just trying to get the team ready to handle anything that comes in March and April. And when you can really defend well, it's going to be a huge factor in March games. And I think we have emphasized that all year. We do think it's part of our calling card that when we're playing other really good teams and other really good players, that they shouldn't get things as easily against us that they do against other teams. Like, that's what being part of a winning team is. And so we've emphasized that before we knew who we were playing, when we were just working on us. We've emphasized that since we know who we're playing, and you add a scout, but that's always been part of, our identity this year.
Let's go to Josh here. We'll come around.
Josh Peter with USA Today. Was asking JuJu where this tradition of the high bun started, and she said, I wore it and I played better. I don't know do you guys take a certain amount of comfort? Oh, there's the bun, we're okay. Or is there any significance, do you think, to it?
I mean, I think at this point, there's a significance in terms of her public persona, right? You see the bun sort of in her Funko Pop thing, and people recognize it, and I think it's really cool when you see little girls with the bun. But for us, we feed off of JuJu's energy and her personality and her, everything. And once in a while, like when she doesn't have the bun in for practice, I kind of do a double take just because you're used to seeing her in season in the bun. But for us, it's about who she is as a person and player, and her hairstyle is just a bonus.
I saw a video clip of teammates racing after her with water bottles. I don't know if it's celebration and she was covering up her hair. Are there any rules like no touching the bun? Or,
maybe they have internal team rules. I think everyone is very conscious of one another's hair. We do know that they feel better when they look better. So anyone with fresh braids or a bun in, everyone's I think pretty respectful of one another for sure.
Amadi Kawa, USCFootball.com. I asked Talia a little bit about experience in the NCAA tournament. This team's coming off of an Elite Eight, of course. What's the mindset going into Game 1 and the importance of winning Game 1 and taking it game by game versus looking so far down the line?
Yeah, we have an interesting mix, right? We have players that have been here in our locker room and gone to an Elite Eight. We've had, obviously, both Kiki and TVO have had long tournament runs at different schools. And we have freshmen who've never gone through it before. But I think really the significance of Game 1 is that if you don't win Game 1, you're done, right? Like that's where we are right now. And we feel like we've been in a one-and-done situation since the end of our regular season because, we had to win the last couple games to win a Big Ten regular season title. Then obviously we went into a one-and-done situation in Indy. So I think that's first and foremost. But also I think just a lot of this has been, for me in these last 2 weeks of preparation, just about a mindset, right? A mindset of continuing to get better, because I think that's been part of our narrative all year, that we can be one of the top teams that still has room for growth, and that's an exciting thing. It's been about urgency in each moment, because it is a one-and-done situation, but still a confidence that we have everything that we need. So a lot of our last 2 weeks have been about technical things and also about mindset.
Beth Harris, AP, saw you at the Cavs game the other night.
Yes.
Did you, in catching up with folks, did anybody have any of the coaches or whatever have any suggestions, or hey, Lindsay, I think you should try this, or do you get that from people, like especially like, oh, you should do this with JuJu, or how much of that,
No, I mean it was it was an unbelievable opportunity. It's the first time I've seen the Cavs in person this year, and I'm just so proud of the young players that I coached there. I think about, everyone thinks it's easy to be an NBA player and make all that money, but Darius Garland had some lows and then a high and then got hurt last year. And I just told him how proud I was of him, and he turns out, I'm so proud of you, which is cool. One of my colleagues there who's on the front bench now is a USC grad, Mike Garrity, just, again, rooting for you. The front office people, some of the other players. It's more just a lot of love. But I think it just shows how locked in people are on women's basketball and on what we're doing here. There's no question they're watching, and they have a sense. But no, they don't try to give suggestions on what to run or what to do. There's just supportive. For me, it was actually really, the timing was good. I think with everything going on in my head, just being locked in on this, to just watch a game, and to kind of be a fan and just watch what chemistry on the bench looks like, watch what, those two high-level teams are doing. It kind of, that gets me in my zone when I can just take basketball from a different perspective and take some things away. So it ended up being a really fun thing for me to do. Glad I did it.
Timothy Parker, Spectrum Networks. Hey, Coach, we talked about all the players on the roster from Los Angeles, and specifically Rhea. What do you think it means to have someone from the city play such an important role heading into this March Madness?
I think it's amazing. Did you guys see, finally got the collaboration done where now a couple other jerseys are being sold at the games and stuff? I wouldn't be surprised if that 13 Marshall jersey sells out, because I think there's so much love and respect for Rhea, not only for being from here and representing, South Central and LA so well, but for staying here and for being part of a growth trajectory here. I've seen it every single day in the locker room, and having her go from a young freshman just trying to make her way to a senior who's talking in our film sessions about what coverages look like and guiding young people. So I think it's about her growth, but I also think it's about what she's represented for LA. And I hope she takes a lot of pride in what she's helped build here when there are fans here for the NCAA tournament. Because she and I talk all the time. We were watching at home her freshman year, and now look at what she's helped build.
Clinton Yates, ESPN. Pardon if somebody touched on this earlier, but Coach, are there any things that you do outside of basketball at a time like this when all of the cameras are swirling and your life seems to have this, that, and the third to just remind yourself, I'm still Lindsay, I'm still a person, and this is not just your job, but it is something that is outside of, what your total existence
like
is?
me personally, separate from the team? Yeah, I mean, I have a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old who remind me every single day that there's a different world outside of this, although they love the team and they want to talk about it. Our family, is important to me. But also I try to, like everyone does, you have your own kind of mental health things or the ways that you reset to put yourself in the best possible position. So we're lucky here in LA. I can, drive 20 minutes to Manhattan Beach where I don't live, but it feels like you're on vacation for 30 minutes and go for a walk and just try and reset and keep my mind clear, which makes me show up better for the team and what we need to do. But it really isn't about me. It's about me trying to get these young women ready for the opportunity in front of them. And we, like I said, the gratitude to be able to coach in the NCAA tournament, play in the NCAA tournament, and everything we want is in front of us. We just got to go attack it.
Amari Cowie, USCFootball.com. What does UNCG bring to the court? What kind of stands out on tape? They played both North Carolina and Georgia, who are two big teams in terms of ranking and whatnot. What do they kind of bring? What do they do well?
Yep. Well, anytime you're 24-6 and win your conference regular season and your conference tournament, you're winners. You know how to win. They have a legit size at the 5 spot. They start 6'5", and I think have 6'5" off the bench as well. And then they put a lot of athleticism, around the perimeter, more like a 4-guard system. They run kind of a dribble drive. They're very aggressive, get to the rim in an attacking, aggressive way, and then everyone can shoot the 3, other than the 5 players. So they bring an exciting brand of basketball and a successful brand of basketball. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. So we have a lot of respect for Coach and what she's done, and for team. I think there's a lot to be said about winners. They didn't get hot and win their conference tournament. They were the best team all year and the best team in the conference tournament, and they're here for a reason.
We'll go here to Ryan.
Ryan Garcia, LA Times. Lindsay, Kennedy has filled such an important role, it seemed like this year, just as a freshman. When did you first kind of notice her and what makes her special, and how have you kind of seen her step into, from playing a lead scoring role throughout high school to step into a role where she's doing that less?
When did I notice her, in the recruiting process? Yep, I actually vividly remember a conversation. So shout out to Albert Kinnebrew, who ran the Cal Sparks club program for a long time, and actually he's dealing with a battle right now against cancer, and he is just a good human above all else. And I'm going long with this because shout out to Albert, we all love you and respect the heck out of you. But I bring his name up because when I went to the NBA, I really no longer needed any of the numbers in my phone that were contacts from AAU and club from a business standpoint, right? I didn't. So you keep in touch with the people that you kind of would want in your life, whether or not they have a kid or whether or not. So Albert, who is a USC grad and just a really good human, is someone that I kept in touch with just as a human. So then I get the job, and I vividly remember sitting outside my house, and I was new to the job, and he said, "I got one for you. I got a young kid. Keep an eye on Kennedy Smith." And I said, "Okay." I remember that conversation, and then that's what started us recruiting her. Her development throughout her high school years was actually pretty significant. I think when I first saw her, you go, "Okay, is this a kid who's a 4 who can play the wing, or is she a 3?" And her skill set continued to develop and develop and develop, and she became quite literally, a top player in the country. I mean, she was a huge priority for us, and so we knew what we were getting. And she's a winner, right? So if you see her high school team play and you see the part that she has in it, she was a part of a lot of winning. So we knew what we were getting. And she's delivered in every level, right? She's, I think, our third leading scorer, obviously an incredible defender, and just someone that we rely heavily on. Like, we knew when she got hurt, it was I mean, chance for other people to step up, which helped us in the long run, but we knew that was a big loss even 4 games in. So, we think she is a huge part of our ability to make a long run now, but even more so, I think, going forward, she's, going to be a problem for everyone else in the country for several years, because, I mean, we think she's that good.
One last question, anyone? Okay. Ryan, one.
Kennedy mentioned that she's a perfectionist,
Yes.
and I know Talia had also said that there have been times this season where she's been kind of hard on herself. How have you seen her kind of deal with that and sort of deal with the mental challenges of being a freshman?
Yeah, she is. And I haven't seen someone be such a perfectionist on the defensive end. Like, usually everyone gets a little mad with it, themselves. They miss a shot or miss a play or something. Like, this kid gets mad at herself if she misses a coverage. Most freshmen don't even know what a coverage is, right? Like, she just is really elite in that sense. And I think some of it for me, and this is always your challenge as a coach, like learning personalities, like what makes them go, what doesn't make them go. And so sometimes I'd kind of be like, well, why does she get down on herself? But you learn it's because she is a perfectionist. And so for me, a lot of it's been trying to be like, just let yourself go. Right, like mistakes happen, good plays happen, but the more that you're at a high tempo, high energy, the more the good is going to happen for our team. And yeah, she's such a team player and such a winner that I think it comes down to she wants to make every play she can make for us to win. And so some of it is even unlocking that that next level for her of confidence that she knows that. I don't care if you make a mistake or not. The next 3 plays are under your control, because again, that's the respect I have for her ability.
Thank you, Coach, for coming in.
Yep,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
A reminder that USC's practice starts at 11:30 and will be open to the media for the first 15